What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's see here.
All right, 2 minutes.
All right. All right. Well.
It's working.
It's all my Dwayne Stein. Too.
Yeah.
Go.
Sam, I can hear.
Yeah.
Good.
Do me a favor. Hand me that phone. Watch yourself. Wait, unclip it in the back. Yeah. Try not to cripple every camera, too. Yeah. All right. I'm going to put us on now. Hold on. I'll move you. I'm going to put you right back.
Oh.
I'm going to do a little Instagram since Facebook's working. Bend it down more. There you go. Good enough. Yeah, we're good.
All right, 10 seconds.
So many rules.
Broadcasting to the Gumbo Nation for over 6 years, providing education and options to listeners throughout the Gulf Coast and across the nation. Mortgage Gumbo is brought to you live weekly by the Total Home Authority, Team Title, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Solar Alternatives, TWFG Biden Cough Insurance Group, The Fence King, Mosquito Joe, and 360 Home Inspections. Mortgage Gumbo is the leading authority for all things home-related. So let's spice up that bowl of mortgage awareness with the man who is high in mortgage knowledge, yet height and hair challenged. Man who only knows how to put the client first. The true definition of a face for radio. Leader of the Gumbo Nation, Dwayne Stein.
What's cooking, Gumbo Nation? You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, and I'm your host, Dwayne Stein, the Gulf South Mortgage Authority. And if you want to join the show, 504-260-0995, or you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Winning at Life app, or shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. We've got a great show planned for you today. This by far will be the greatest show until next week's. So, and why I'm excited about this, I mean, you know, we have the Queen. So her chariot has arrived. I'm excited to have her in. And why is she here? Well, we got hurricane season, right? So we're going to talk about some tips on hurricane prep. That never gets old. You can never cover that enough, especially after last year. 7 named storms. We even got into the Greek alphabet and all that baloney. So we're going to cover that. We're going to get that to you, what some prep tips are. And then if you want a copy of what we've put together, obviously just shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. But, you know, one of the things, Colette Biedenkopf, affectionately known, Total Home Authority member, with the TWFG Beatencoff Group. You could also visit The Monarch INS, short for insurance, themonarchins.com, so website. But there's a lot going on in the insurance world. So, who better to bring her in? And, her and I guess we would call her the princess, Jamie, her sister. It's a family affair, kind of like at my office. So, Colette's going to come in and tell you what's going on with roofs right now. Because almost every single person I hear is, well, I got a new roof after Katrina. Well, folks, and listen, it's hard to believe, but that was, 16 years ago. So Colette's going to talk about that. See, we're not here to trick you or fool you. What we're here to do is educate you. So Colette's going to tell you where to go look at on your policy, because right now you got sharks out there, schmuckatellis. Yes, they even exist in the insurance world. And they're calling going, hey, we can reduce your premium, or we can do this, or we can do that. But does reducing your premium, what is it going to cost you on the back end? So those are the things that we're going to be sharing today. So another thing that I'm excited about, first off, thank you for everybody that reached out from the newsletter that went out this week. Yes, being named Moneymaker, City Business, very excited about that. But I couldn't do that without you, the listener, trusting me. September, I can't believe it's going to already be 7 years. Being on air with Gregory Ricks for for 2 years. So, I've been coming to you for almost a decade now, and it's exciting to see that all my efforts is leading into something and y'all trusting me. And the only way you can do that is, especially here in the Gulf South, is you got to bring a good product and you got to bring knowledge, because we're not going to be wamboozled down here. We're as resilient as anybody, right? So it's just an honor to be recognized for that, and it's really, really appreciated. And, I guess it's award season, because you'll see it. You'll get it posted. You'll see. I mean, look, we're helping record numbers of people, okay? And I know, a lot of people out there you'll see, especially with this Facebook, which, look, I use as a platform to bring you education and options. But, a lot of people out there, it's called fake book, and all these social medias is such a lot of baloney. But, so when you hear me on here and you see us posting different things, well, we've got the proof to back it up. Scotsman Guy, which is a very, very recognized media outlet, platform. I was, and my employees as well, my salespeople, Jeff Mayer and Claude Mayer. Jeff, your mortgage BFF, Claude, the mortgage man Mayer. All three of us were lucky enough to be recognized as top loan officers in the entire country. So that came out. So excited about that, right? Because there's a lot of folks out there, and to be recognized by that, you've got to do X amount of loans, you got to do X amount of volume. So, look, let's face it, we're in the greatest times ever. So you got a lot of folks, you hear me talking about it every single week, the schmucks out there who are just sort of jumping in. So excited about that. What else is going on? Well, hey, y'all know how much I love baseball. Y'all know I announce baseball. Well, look, be looking in the newspapers. A lot of you, y'all will come shake my hand, and I'll get to meet you, and you're like, hey, I listen to you all the time. My son plays for this team. Well, during the summer, you get the opportunity doing what they call Legion play. You get to sponsor teams. So I'm excited to be this year sponsoring the Lakeshore Titans, Coach Skinner, Coach Boomer Nunez, Coach Greg Battistella, Jeffrey Caruso, Grant Hano. I'm so excited to be sponsoring those guys and the team. So be looking for the Mortgage Gumbo coming to you. So what I've learned this team, as we've got the uniforms and we're kind of doing the sponsorship, what I've learned is it's kind of hard to get baseball theme going with Gumbo, right? Like, they play like baseball. When there's a base hit, it's like they start to play charge. So I'm like, when I'm announcing, I'm like, the ruse starting to simmer. Oh, that's if a pitcher's doing really good, like, is he hot sausage, right, that you're putting in, or, those kind of things. So just having a little fun with that, but really, really excited to discuss that. So this week, jobs report. Well, we missed again. This is 2 straight months. May's job report came out this week, and the bottom line is this. 554,000 is actual versus projected of 671. And personally, that sucks because we want people back at work. We want people working. So that really stinks when you hear that number that today when you drive around and you see the hiring, right? I know Colette, I know me, I know every business owner I know is trying to find someone. And the biggest thing that they say is this: it's hard to find good people because nobody wants to work. And we talked a couple weeks ago. Basically, right now, you're getting paid $18.50 an hour to sit at home. So that's why these numbers coming in short stinks. Now, so while that's 2 months in a row, what you have to understand is this, and I'm going to be quite frank with you, and this is just the deal. The federal government, since this pandemic hit, right? And regardless of, hey, now the masks are coming through, all this info about Fauci, all these type of media balonies out there, the bottom line is they're still considering this in a pandemic. Now, why do you benefit from that right now? While it stinks that people aren't going back to work at massive numbers, it should be in droves. The Fed's still buying $120 billion. That's with a B, $120 billion a month in treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. So what that means is rates are staying down. What you have to be concerned about is this, is they want to, I promise you, they want to raise those rates because that's going to help even out the housing market. That's going to slow down the affordability, right? And keep these values sort of, get them back where they maybe should be. But when that happens, it's going to be a reckoning. And because rates are going to just go way up. They're going to go up. So that's why you're seeing when people go, oh, the refinance is slowing down and all that. No, it's not. It's not with Mortgage Gumbo. More people are doing it. We are still at all-time lows, folks, if you minus out that mirage of 2020. I guess you can't call it a mirage because it was real. But if you take away 2020, the rates that you're seeing right now are still right at all-time lows. So don't mess around. Don't, get those home improvements. If this is your forever home, take advantage that the value's where it's at. Wow, there's no way my house is worth $300,000. Yeah, it probably is. Well, I bought it for $260, 6 years ago. It probably is. So you know what? Take advantage of it. Get that money out while the value's where it's at. Get that low rate and go from there. So lots of opportunities there. So, again, the Chariot's arriving. She's here. She's back. She was on assignment this week, which it looks like the assignment required some SPF. But with that being said, she's still here. She's fired up. She's excited. So on the other side of the break, get your notepad ready. Pull out that insurance policy because we're about to give you some great education on what's going on with insurance rates right now. Okay? And we're going to give you some hurricane prep tips. That's right. You've stumbled upon the home show. Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. 504-260-0995.
Riders on the storm.
Nice. Nice, Dave. All right, so when we come back, I'm going to do my little announcements.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
We'll intro you.
Okay.
I'm going to knock out Rate Watch real quick.
Okay.
So that way we roll from there. And this mortgage forbearance. There we go. What's up? What's up, Gumbo Nation? What's happening? Yep, she's here. I see y'all out there. Get a question in. If you got a question, don't be scared.
wish I could hear what they were playing.
What's
What
that?
they were playing on the radio.
You saw I got my little sign hung up. I'm working on, because you know me, I need it all to be.
Of course.
So, but
Yes, it's very impressive.
it's up right now. We'll deal with it.
I like it. I like the acoustics.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
I got to do the ceiling. I'm going to lock us in.
Mm-hmm.
Riders on the storm. What's up, Melissa? What's up, Leslie? Congratulations on the purchase of your home. Congratulations on your marriage. Super happy for you and Stacy. That is awesome.
What's that camera in the corner up at the top?
Huh?
That up at the top.
That's an overview. That's this one, right? Little full studio.
Oh, nice.
What's up?
Okay.
That's the one we'll go to in a sec.
All right, 1 minute.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
Riders on the storm. What's up, Instagram? We got you back this week. What's happening? Hope everything is fantastic.
10 seconds.
That's right. We're prepping you. We're prepping you. That's DJ Dave, producer extraordinaire, the Double D, Dave DeCorbier. Hey, this segment's brought to you by The Fence King. Visit FenceThisYard.com. FenceThisYard.com. The King has done it again. He introduced you to the virtual fence designer, and now the Fence King is offering galvanized posts that stand up to tropical storm-proof winds up to 73 miles an hour. Wood posts are in the past, people. Build better, build stronger fence. Your privacy, your protection around your house. And it's guaranteed. He guarantees it. Visit FenceThisYard.com. FenceThisYard.com. So let's get into, real quick, our weekly segment we like to call Rate Watch. Rate Watch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. It's America's first handcrafted vodka. Listen, folks, rates have not moved much at all over the last 30 days. 30-year, 3.13. 15, 2.53. FHA, 2.64. Jumbo, 3.12. 5-1 arm, 2.25. You'd be absolutely nuts. And VA continues to be middle to upper twos. These are the same rates that we've been talking about since the beginning of May. So rates should not be something that's keeping you on the sideline right now. We just alluded to it. We talked about it. So it is absolutely fantastic. So as the Queen is arriving in studio, she's getting herself ready. I wanted to share one last thing with you, and that is, let me start by saying sorry. Sorry to some of the landlords and folks like that. But major forbearance program, and we said it a couple weeks ago. They've kicked it down the curve again when it comes to what you're looking at for multifamily homes. Multifamily, okay? They haven't said anything about primary yet. This is multifamily. So was supposed to expire at the end of this month, June 30th, the forbearance program. They've extended it till September 30th. September 30th. So Fannie Mae's new requirements, here they are. Fannie Mae requires property owners with a new or modified forbearance plan to inform tenants in writing of their protections available during this forbearance and repayment period. Additionally, the tenants must provide, the landlords must provide the tenants the following. You have to give them flexibility to pay back rent over time and not in a lump sum. You can't charge the tenant any late fees or penalties for non-payment of rent. And you have to allow the tenant at least 30 days notice to vacate. And I can tell you this because I know some friends who've went in and tried to get the eviction things handled. And here's what I can tell you. You're going to go before the judge. I'm giving you a warning. Let me tell you how to, I don't want to say beat the system, but how to help yourself here. You're going to go before the judge. The judge is going to ask that tenant, have you reapplied for any grant money, any of this CARES Act, any of that stuff? Have you contacted Section 8, any of those things like that? If they say no, they're going to give them time to do that. Okay? Really, the only way out of this, and I'm not saying, hey, massive evictions are going to cause, it's going to be something that's going to be out there. And we'll talk about that in our past show because I want to get to the queen. But I can tell you this. The only way you're getting out is to sell your home. That's what landlords are telling me. I'm selling my home. Because I'm not qualifying for grant money. I'm not qualifying for some of these CARES Act stuff. So selling your home. So we'll touch on that a little bit again next week. But the Chariot's here. She's arrived. I mean, listen to that. She's got her own music now.
Yep.
I mean, that is where we are at. So, Colette Beancoff,
Good
welcome
morning.
back to Mortgage Gumbo.
Happy to be here.
Good.
Thank you.
So, hey, if you want to reach Colette, visit themonarchins.com or 985-951-2070. So, we'll talk about hurricane prep tips. We're in hurricane season now, crazy enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just as you catch your breath from last year,
Yes.
right? Let's kind of talk about, because what are you as an insurance agency, what are y'all doing, or is there anything that you could do to kind of help your clients get ready for this from an insurance standpoint? Not where, hey, no an evacuation route, none of that stuff, just from a policy, stuff like that.
From a policy standpoint, it's always wise to familiarize yourself with what you actually have on your policy, because you may do additions to your home, you may do improvements to your home, and you want to make sure that you have enough coverage for, those improvements that you've done that your insurance agent has no idea that you've done. Okay, you've ripped out your kitchen. You now have marble slab,
So that's
counter.
a great point. So we're doing a ton of refinance loans right now where
For
people are
home
doing home improvements.
Yes. So
Don't forget to get with your agent,
100%.
your carrier, your policy holder, and say, we updated
Now's
it.
the
We just put
time
50
to
grand
refresh
in.
it. Right.
Okay, good advice.
When you are refinancing, that's, everything's being looked at like it's brand new again. So you need to take into consideration what kind of improvements you're putting in your home, to make sure that your coverage on your policy reflects that increase in value. That's hugely important because we're typically the last ones to know when those homeowners do those improvements, and then you have a claim and we weren't aware, and the policy holder, wasn't realizing they had to let us know that they put in a pool or a outdoor kitchen,
Right.
and things of that nature.
So let's talk about, because so many listeners, and they're not supposed to know this, but for that person right now who is considering they're purchasing a home, and I get this question every day,
Like
and I
a
want
brand
you
new
to,
purchase? A new purchase.
A new purchase. But so let's talk about this, because I want to be very remedial for my listeners, because this is sort of confusing. I want the listeners to understand that when they are purchasing a new home, and let's say it has flood insurance. Because here's one of the things, and you've had to correct me, and I've been doing this a long time. So, listeners, and again, if I'm wrong or something changed, please, every single home in America is in a flood zone.
Unless you're on a mountaintop,
right.
I would say you are in a flood zone.
Right. But now, there's different zones.
Correct.
Right? There's zones that we as lenders require you to have flood insurance in place.
Yes.
And then there's ones where we don't. Naturally, the ones that don't, hey, your premiums are a lot cheaper. I'm not in a flood zone, so I pay my $500-$600 a month, and I'm good to go. If you're in a flood zone, you can expect to pay a little bit more. So, and the max is on flood insurance still $250,000.
Yes, on your structure.
On your structure, right.
$100,000 on contents.
Okay, so but let's get into. We start get right now. The Gulf and the tropics are kind of calm, but let's talk about what happens when you are in the process. You're buying a house, and a storm comes into the Gulf.
Okay.
Meaning, I want folks to understand, us as the lender, and this is for the folks who maybe aren't coming through us, because we're calling you going, something's in, let's bind it, let's do what we've got to do.
Well,
but kind of tell them with the point of.
So there will be a moratorium wherein we are unable to write new policies when there is a disturbance in the Gulf. It depends on clearly exactly where it is and where it's projected to go. But last year, 8 times, we were unable to write new business for new purchases because we couldn't bind the policy to put it into effect, because not only did the flood companies have, the moratorium in place, but also the insurance companies as well. They do the same thing. So 8 times last year over the summer, we were unable to write new business. And when you're going in you have a closing date, you're selling this house, buying this house, somebody else is buying the house you're selling. It's like this domino effect of problems that occur. And unfortunately, it's unavoidable because we can't predict the weather.
Right.
So we just, like, when we see it coming, we'll call our lenders or our customers and be, hey, we need to get this done today. Mm-hmm. Because tomorrow we might not be able to put the policy in effect. But I do want to mention this. When you're buying a new home and you're not in a required zone by the lender, so it is completely up to you and your discretion on whether or not you want to purchase flood insurance. Well, the only way we can put that policy in effect the day that you buy that house is if you pay that premium within 7 days of you purchasing the home. If you wait, then what happens is you have a 30-day waiting period before it goes into effect.
Right.
So new home purchases, if you want to protect your brand new investment, you have to pay that premium within 7 days of you buying the home.
And just to be clear, if you're in a flood zone, you're going to be required to pay it at closing regardless.
Right.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that because that brought up, because I want to talk about grandfathering in insurance and flood insurance. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. You are listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. If you've got any questions, the Queen of Insurance, Total Home Authority member, Colette Bedenkoff, the Monarch, INS.com, is in studio to answer your questions. 504-260-0995.
I have a great story that I'll tell.
Yeah.
But so a gentleman was buying a home in Money Hill in Abita, 200 feet above sea level. So he's under the impression, why do I need flood insurance?
Right.
I'm not in a flood zone. Well, when I went to I said, well, let me quote it for you and provide that to you just so you know what the premium is. When I went to quote it, the flood company provided a map of the area. And he was 3 houses away from the flood zone change.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, if you're going to flood,
Yeah. It ain't going to go. No.
it's not going to go. We're going to stop at this line.
Right.
We're not going to go any further.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do was take a picture of the map. And I emailed it to him to show him how close he was to a required zone. And needless to say, he purchased the flood policy because you can't call it that close.
No. Well, you can't just. That's
It
all.
doesn't stop at the line.
Yeah. The water doesn't know.
No, it doesn't know that we went from an A zone to an X.
Right. It's going the extra mile.
What? Sending him the picture.
All right. So let's talk about the.
Prep.
Yeah, that, but more importantly, the.
Grandfathering?
Yeah.
That's kind of phasing out. I don't
Is
know
it?
if I would.
Yeah, but like, can't you?
It's
like-
just
like, let's say-
assumptions. It's assumptions.
Right, but let's talk about But if there is a storm in the Gulf, can't you assume their policy?
Yes,
So
100%. That's assumptions, not grandfathering.
Oh, gotcha.
Grandfathering is if the house was built according to the flood
Gotcha.
maps at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's way technical that people.
No, care less.
Yeah, no. We don't want to do that. We could talk about assumptions, though. But the biggest thing we get is, can you give me a flood quote? My house is in a flood zone.
30 seconds.
And, well, we can, but it's not accurate because we don't know where your elevation is on your house in relationship to the flood zone. The base flood elevation for that area. So we need to know from a surveyor where it is.
Seconds.
I don't know if that's going to really.
I'm gonna wish I had a storm warning. I'm gonna wish I had a sign.
We're back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. If you want to join the show, we've got the Queen of Insurance, Colette Beatoncoff with TWFG, the Monarch, INS.com in studio. This segment's brought to you by Solar Alternatives. Solar Alternatives is the Gulf South's leader in solar, battery backup, and energy management for 10-plus years. I could say I've used it personally. I've got the panels on my office, and you know what? While everybody else is out and around when we get these little summer storms, we're golden. We keep rocking and rolling, making sure we get your loans closed in record time. Give yourself peace of mind during storms and add home value. The panels are sleek and clean looking. Visit solalt.com. That's SOLALT.com. Oh, and make sure you ask about the tax credits. That's solalt.com. All right, so before the break, we were kind of talking about, again, Colette Beatoncoff's in studio. Hey, if you want to reach out to her, you've got questions to ask her about maybe your policy or, hey, what type of coverages you need, 985-951-2070. So, all right, you corrected me during the break. I was saying grandfathered in. But let's talk about some of these storms. You said it's now kind of being called assumptions, right? So, in other words, people can assume somebody's flood insurance or insurance that's in place right now, correct? Kind of explain that, because I know people don't realize that.
Well, if you are you're selling your home, you're listing it for sale, the realtors now are suggesting, requiring somewhat that you provide a copy of your current declaration page for your flood policy. And that gives the potential buyer full disclosure on what the flood premium is going to be. And that flood policy can be assumed by that buyer at closing. So it's the same policy number. It covers the same property, but it will change to the buyer's name from your name. So we do a lot of those, and it's basically just signatures that are needed to transfer that policy from one name to another.
Okay. All right. So that makes sense. I know I see it a lot now, mainly on the flood side. I see a lot of the policies being, assumed and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's the only policy that can be assumed.
Okay.
You can't do a homeowner
policy
Correct. Assumption.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So we're in hurricane season. We're talking about, as you mentioned earlier, just different things on, prepping and of course, different ways to prep your emergency kits from a standpoint that goes, where will shelters be? Where can you put your car? All that kind of stuff.
Right.
How do you know if a storm was coming? And you've mentioned how that once they put the moratoriums on certain policies. But let's talk about outside of hurricane season that we're in right now. One of the big things right now is all of the carriers, right, are the premiums. That's all I hear is how much the premiums are going up,
Increasing.
Right? So kind of what is the thought behind that? Is it a cost? Because, insurance is something everybody always has enough of until you need it.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So kind of tell us what's going on because these roofs, let's talk specifically.
Well, let's start with the increase in premiums that we're seeing first.
Sure.
Because that leads into should you move companies or not.
Good point.
Okay.
Good point.
So because of the 2020 storm that hit the Gulf Coast, because of the wildfires, these insurance companies, insure property all over the world. So let's just say you've had an active season like we've had. So what you're seeing in the market is you have less companies wanting to compete to write on the coast. Okay. So just like any business, when you have fewer, players in the market, your premiums are going to be going upward because you don't have that competitive advantage. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing some carriers say, look, we are reducing our level of exposure on the coast. So they might take, a swath of houses saying, we want to reduce the number of policies we have in force in this area to make sure that we can remain solvent and pay claims, when they're needed. So those guys are making proactive moves to ensure the longevity of their companies. Okay, get that? So what that has done is increase, premiums for the carriers, let's just say, that plan to stay. They're taking more risk. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's all about risk analysis. So what we're seeing is we're on average, on the low side, we're seeing about a $300 premium increase on a home policy. Okay. So when the customer gets that renewal, they're like, oh, my God, my policy went up $300. And so my agents in my office, we have to be very careful about just moving someone because if they had a roof that was put on in 06, 07, and the new companies may not cover full replacement on that roof. So I might save you $200, but now you don't have full replacement.
So explain what full
replacement cost means. Yeah. Okay, so if you have damage from a wind, hail, hurricane, tropical storm event that destroys the roof and you need a new roof and you have an average size home, 2,000 square feet, let's just say. On average, it's going to cost $12,000 to replace that roof.
Yeah, your mics are busted. I'm going to break.
Okay.
My mics are busted.
All right. Somebody keeps moving their damn feet. Who's fidgety?
Oh.
It has to be me.
Okay. So your wire keeps coming undone too, and so I keep hearing like the table getting kicked, and then the wire came loose. So that whole bit that you just started
Was poopy?
I couldn't hear anything, so I turned on the music and went to break. All right. Double check the wiring, make sure it's all hooked up.
How does it sound?
Okay, no, it just cracked just now.
Well, I didn't touch a damn thing.
Okay, all right. So follow the wire down, Dwayne,
On the mic?
or at least just check the connection to the microphone itself.
Hello? How's
Yes. Okay, that's better.
that? Better.
There we go.
He
Yes.
says better. Better. So was it over there? I mean, neither one of us were moving our feet.
Yeah, well, something was hitting it because I was looking on the Facebook feed. I thought it might have been Dwayne's hat hitting the microphone at first, but it's not. So whatever it is, it's something under the table because it sounded like somebody was beating on the table, like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, what the hell? So one of the wires kind of sort of got loose to your mic, Colette. So far, it sounds pretty good right now.
Oh, we good now?
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope so.
Live radio, baby.
Yes, indeed.
Always fun.
What were we talking about?
You had just gotten to the. I just gotten past the flood.
Oh, the
plain.
roofs.
The
Full
roofs,
replacement.
Yeah. Okay. 1 minute,
All right.
and we'll be going all the way to the top to 5850. Okay.
Perfect. Yep. See, you get a little behind the scenes there. Gumbo Nation, social media.
It's live, so stuff happens.
That's right.
All right. 10 seconds.
All right.
Seems to me you live your life like a candle in the wind.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. Hey, sorry about that. Hope you hung in with us. That's the beauty of live radio. So I think we got everything checked out. So when we went to a rapid break there, Colette was explaining, Queen of Insurance, Colette Biedenkoff, in studio with us, the MonarchINS.com. She was explaining what full replacement cost is. So just to sort of recap, hey, wind, hail, right, tropical storms, hurricanes, what is full replacement? So she's talking about that, so go right back to it.
Very quick mathematical lesson.
Okay.
It will cost, on average, $12,000 to replace a roof.
Okay.
And your insurance policy, if you have a replacement cost value on your roof, the insurance company will pay to fully replace your roof, less your deductible. If you have an actual cash value policy for your roof, they will depreciate they depreciate the value of the roof and pay you that less your deductible. So if your roof typically had 10 years of life left on it, and they would, let's just say, pay you 10%
Okay.
of the cost to replace your roof, less your deductible. So you're coming out with a whole lot of money out of pocket if you have roof damage as a result of some sort of wind, hail, tropical storm, hurricane event.
Okay.
So when we are reshopping, is what we call you, remarketing you, we are trying to take into consideration that we're trying to save you money on your premium without losing replacement cost coverage on your roof. So we don't take it like just, we have to analyze what your particular situation is. And so right now, I would say about 75% of our customers are needing to be remarketed because of rate increases. and they could be much larger than $300. It's just a case-by-case basis. So we are remarketing our book of business, so to speak, but we have to discuss with the clients what improvements have you made since the last time, we shopped your insurance around. Have you put a new roof on? We need proof of that so that we can provide that to the new company and get you replacement costs on that roof.
So let me kind of so what I'm hearing is this, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to kind of simplify this. So you get a notice from your insurance company, and you get something saying your premium went up $300-$400.
Yes.
If Dwayne Stein goes and calls new insurance company, make sure that because it's I'm saving $100 now.
Yeah.
I'm getting equal or the same coverage, right? Or better, meaning that full replacement. Because if not, and they give you what you're saying,
an actual cash value coverage on the roof, on your roof, then in the event of a hurricane storm of some sort, you are now going to come out of pocket for that difference.
So a $12,000 average roof, somebody with full replacement cost
pays their deductible.
Pays your deductible of
$2,500.
$2,500.
Just example.
Somebody that a schmuckatelli calls them and goes, "Oh yeah, look, we can lower that premium," and they get cash value,
actual cash value.
That $12,000 roof now
costs you $10,000 out of pocket.
$10,000 out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
Okay.
So we want to be very careful on what we're doing. Are we making you better? Or do you have that kind of cash? Some people do, and they're like, hey, I would rather save the money on the premium and take my chances because I have the cash in the event I need to replace my roof. But that's a small percentage of people that can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're trying to do is don't cut off your nose to spite your face.
Right.
I mean, look, all the premiums are going up. They're going up because we have less carriers, competing for your business. And they're very selective on the business they want to write because of the storms that we got hit with last year. So we have to do a balancing act with our clients on making sure we're not putting you in a worse position over a $200-$300 increase in your premium. So it's not that we want to save you money, but we want to protect you as well in the event you have some type of catastrophic damage to your home. You have enough money there to fix it.
So it's not a bottom line thing where coverage right now I'm paying $2,000 a year for. Now somebody's telling me $1,700. You got to look for that. So on a policy, right, let's try to make this visual. Where would somebody look at that to see if it's cash value or if it's
an actual replacement cost?
Yeah, where could somebody...
So on a declaration page which outlines the dates, the policies in effect, and the coverages you have on your home, on the second page typically of that document, it lists all of these endorsements that are on the policy, and 99.999% of people don't even know what that is.
Correct.
It's complete jibber jabber to most people. And so on that, it basically outlines what additional coverages come with that policy and what coverages it does not. So on that list, if you will, it will say replacement cost policy, okay? Or it will say actual cash value endorsement on that second page of your declarations. No one even asks us for that typically. What we get asked for deck pages is to get tax return money from the LA Citizens Charge.
Right.
Like, that is the most important thing that people ask us for deck pages, is to get that tax credit
now,
on the
unless
state
you're
taxes.
doing a loan, we're asking for it on every deal. So what I want to kind of reiterate there is, because I hear people scrambling, going look for their policy. The deck page, in essence, is a list of what you have in your coverage, and usually on the right side, it's going to kind of give you what you're paying for those. and then what your premium is at the bottom, right? Any discounts, any rebates, or whatever y'all call it, is on that page. So that is what you're going to look for if you're going through. You don't have to go through the 48 pages of, that's where if you want to go read what is this rider cover or what is that cover in detail, you can, but just a snapshot it's called your deck page, or at the top it'll say declarations, your homeowner's insurance declarations. I would challenge all of you who are listening to this, pull that out, look at it, use it right now, and see.
That's the best prep for hurricane season, is knowing you have enough coverage, knowing what your deductible is, and knowing if you have replacement cost on your roof.
Yeah.
I would say 100% that's what you need. Step one.
Because there's more roofing companies. I'm seeing more roofing trucks around right now than ever. And I get it, and then it comes down to, hey, they're 5, 6, 8 weeks out sometimes because just material. It's tough to get and all those type of things. So take out that deck page, look at that, right? See what's all about that. And then if you got questions, highlight some stuff and find out now before it's too late. Get that taken care of now before something happens and then all of a sudden you're kind of out the box in that regard.
And I wanted to give 2 other tips that I find is very helpful in prepping for hurricane season. Clearly, you got to make sure all of your ditches and, sewer drains and all the drainage around you want to make sure is clear. Secondly, you want to remove any dead tree branches or any branches that are very close to the roof of your home. In Zeta, we had a lot of, just little poke holes and little pieces of roofs that were damaged because the wind level wasn't severe enough to wipe out the roof. But all of those dead limbs and everything like that, it's projectiles on your roof. So I would say 100% clear out all of that dead branches, lower hanging branches on your roof, because it's an inconvenience, when you have to report a claim and meet with an adjuster and get a roof. If you can avoid the damage, then hello, that's what you want to do.
Right.
So I would say that was the 2 major things, was the blockage of the drainage that caused flooding, and then you had the projectile, tree debris that was damaging the roofs in Zeta.
Yeah. Well, and look, some of these summer storms, we just had one a couple weeks ago. These storms whip up. This wind comes howling. I go outside the next day, and literally you've got a tree limb that's maybe 8 to 10 inches stuck in the grass, and you pull it, and it went into the grass 3 to 6 inches.
Right.
So
that's what it does to your roof.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are the things that all of a sudden, and what happens when it's something like that? You don't find out that till you're sitting down, you're watching one of your favorite shows, and you look up and you're like, my roof's got a blue spot.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I can see the
it's
sky.
got a bunch of missing shingles and stuff like that. And it's funny because one of the tips here that I highlighted was to make sure that keep your landscaping in check. Well-trimmed trees and shrubs or more wind-resistant and less likely to become flying battering rams in a storm.
Exactly.
So
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this. So if somebody boards up their window, right? Because it's kind of an old school mentality. Look, now I got the windows, the shutters with the coverings and all that. Does that protect, like when you look at that as a claim, does that have anything to do with whether I board up my windows or not? Like, does the insurance company go, you should have tried to board up your windows?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sure.
That's a safety issue so that the glass doesn't become projectile.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that's
in the middle
what
of
it
a
is.
storm, and then all of a sudden you got rain coming in and different things
it's more of a human safety issue than it is, anything else as far as your house.
All right, so for automobiles, parking them, trying to find something to park from an insurance standpoint, water comes in, they got to make a claim. Kind of how does that?
Once your car's flooded,
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the level it's gotten to your car, they total those things out typically.
Yep. All right. Good. What about boats? Anything there?
Well, you should always have a hurricane plan to move your boat to a safer area. Take it out the water would be the best. If you can't, then you should have a preparation plan to bring it more inland. Some of the bigger, motor yachts and such like that, the insurance companies require them to have that plan.
Okay. So the other thing, too, here, just to sort of wrap up when we're prepping talk, would be, most carriers now, like self, you've got an app, right? So
an application?
Yeah, an app. So people don't have to go and bring their hard docs. They carry their phone with them now, right?
Yes.
So to retrieve policies and all that.
Yes.
So what I would say is the old school days of, hey, having that box ready, that's where, of course, you want a medical kit, some food supply, make sure you're gassed up and all that. But, hey, call. That's so convenient that I'm able to get online with my app that y'all offer. It's amazing.
We have a TWFG app so that you can log in and you can have a copy of your declaration page anytime you want.
Exactly. Colette, thanks again. You are the bomb.
Thank
Total
you.
Home Authority member, Colette Biedenkopf. Call her. Ask her, can you check out my policy? Am I in good shape? What can you do to help me out better? 985-951-2070. Or simply visit themonarchins.com. She's always got tips on there, hurricane season tips, different things like that, what to expect, all that kind of stuff on there, keeping you educated. We love her. She's of great value to the Total Home Authority, and so do the clients that get the opportunity to work with her and her team. So thanks again for coming out in the rain, Queen. So with that being said, Gumbo Nation, try to stay dry. And until next week, you've been listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Call me doing my day job. We're standing by right now. I'm a lender. I'm ready to help you take advantage of today's market. 504-207-7600.
10.
Till next week, Gumbo Nation, keep stirring the pot.
Clear.